The Lord be with you.
With your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard of the death of John the Baptist, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it is already late. Dismiss the crowds so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "There is no need for them to go away. Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, 5 loaves and 2 fish are all we have here." Then he said, "Bring them here to me." And he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he said the blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the fragments left over, 12 wicker baskets full. Those who ate were about 5,000 men, not counting women and children. The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for being here on this warm day again in California. So sit by one of the fans to stay cool. My brothers and sisters, today we have this very powerful reading that is very familiar to us, a gospel of Jesus multiplying the bread and the fish to feed those who he was ministering to. All these people who were following Jesus, thousands, starving, craving, not food, but love, assurance, hope, all these things that matter the most. And so he's feeding them spiritually, and they're absorbing everything. But yet comes the time as they're there, it's getting late, and the disciples say, we better send them off to the villages to buy food because we really don't have anything to give them. And what are we going to do? It's late, everything's closed, and we have all these people, men and women and children, who are hungry. And so then that's when the miracle surfaces, and the bread and the fish are multiplied. Not only did they have enough to satisfy their physical needs, but they had extra. And if we kind of just read this gospel, we really have no clue as to the powerful spiritual teaching that is contained within these words. And I'd like to share with you a spiritual principle that St. John Paul II prayed about and taught throughout his pontificate. And this teaching was called the law of the gift. The law of the gift. And it's a spiritual principle stating that we cannot fully find ourselves except through a sincere gift of ourselves. It centers on self-fulfillment through love, generosity, and sacrifice. So basically what he's saying is, our being increases the more you give it away. Remember that. Our being increases the more you give it away. And it decreases the more you hoard or cling to yourself. Very, very powerful teaching. The law of the gift. And all the readings point to that. All the readings point to that. The first reading kind of gives us a glimpse as to what people are craving in life. And how are they going to be fed? Through us. Through us. Let's say, for instance, someone calls you on the phone and you're busy and you're distracted and so forth, and they have a serious problem. And they called you because they need advice or they need comfort. And you dismiss them maybe. I'm too busy, whatever. But it's something serious. No, I can't. I don't have time. Or when you respond and say, oh yes, share with me what's going on. Let me listen to you. And after 45 minutes or an hour on the phone with that person, they go away. Knowing that someone cared, that someone listened. And you deep down inside, because you made that sacrifice, you become fulfilled through the love and the generosity that you gave to them. And we're fulfilled. And we are made for that. We are made not to hoard the gifts that God has given us or keep them to ourselves. We're called to give them away. And God knows that. Jesus is teaching us today, if you give away yourself like He did in His life, you will become fulfilled. You will find meaning in your life. And you will find the presence of God in a more powerful way. And this is called the law of the gift. To share what we have with those around us. With those around us. And so I think it's very important for us to see that, especially in a society which places so much emphasis on me. What I want, what I need. But we were not created for that. We were created to give of ourselves. Give it away. Share it. Because people need that. We all need that. And I think that we have a beautiful opportunity in our lives to give away our love, our generosity, our compassion to others. Amen.